click again, because then when one resigns, willingly, then you.
I'm not so sure of that. So just for everyone here, first of all, we're sorry we're a little bit late. We wanted the whole purpose of this is for the unusual time, or should I say, on a Tuesday rather than a Friday. One, we had a holiday on Friday, but second, there's just been a whole lot. And Nathan and I just felt very strongly that if anybody had any questions, anybody wanted to talk things through, happy to do it. And I even think we were even contemplating tomorrow if necessary. Mm-hmm. And I know, can I just shout out to the young, the nationals. We were even thinking Saturday for the first time, because a lot of people who are working don't have the ability to be here at 9 o'clock. So we're trying to do some creative things to be open, because we are going to be missing our city manager sitting beside me. If you were watching last night, I still believe, even with what I know here, that he was the right choice. I just wish circumstances were different, but my family's going through some circumstances too, so I very much understand. But and then we've also got the position with position 6 on city council. So if there were people who had questions, comments, or wanted some things for us to hear, we wanted to be open for that. I don't know if you had anything.
I appreciate that. And I know we're coming off a council meeting just last night, but again, just wanted to express my appreciation for how the council and the mayor have reacted to me departing, and just let everybody know that this has been a really good place to be. All our fundamentals here are really strong. We have our finances are healthy. We've got a good level of safety in the city. And so there's a lot of opportunity here for success, and apologize that I'm leaving sooner than expected, but I really appreciate the chance to work with everybody. And I'll be here for a while longer, so I'll probably be here up until close to Christmas. So be looking for ways to be useful between now and then, and there's certainly no shortage of things we'll be working on in the next few weeks.
I have a councilwoman, Tomasi, here, and I told her after the meeting last night, we broke up, I guess it was right around 10:30 or whatever, that my phone had already blown up, and 2 of the candidates have trouble with the date of the 20th for what we had organized. So more than likely, I'm going to be coming back to the council to find out what we want to do about it. But I do know there's two of the candidates that are under consideration have difficulties, legitimate ones.
So we can look. We can. Would you like? We'll we can survey.
I haven't had any conversations. Yeah. Even Paul is here, so that's I just raised that in just because of transparency. Yeah. So, did you have any prepared things that you wanted? Or?
No, just a couple things. We have a busy stretch of meetings ahead here yet this month. We've got a TERS meeting coming up next Monday. We were planning for a special to happen also next Monday night, so we'll be working on the best date for that. We've got an Economic Development Corporation meeting next Tuesday night to have some public hearings on some projects. And we're still going to be trying to schedule a Charter Review Commission meeting yet this month to get them started on their process. So, and on here in the month of November, especially with the holidays kind of squeezed in there as well, it gets a little bit tough with all the meetings we have pending. But please keep an eye out on the city calendar. We're going to be updating that day by day as new meetings get confirmed and posted. But quite a bit going on, and good stuff, exciting stuff. But
I know one of last night. For those who like to walk, and particularly those who like to walk the city in the evening, the Galaxy of Lights that gets extended into Nassau Bay came on Saturday, starting and they are lights that are just fun to see, and you can see it's contiguous coming down Saturn from the Galaxy of Lights. It was what we coordinated 2 years ago with Space Center Houston and the Johnson Space Center to be a part of that. And it really, really lights up that Saturn Drive, Saturn Road, right there as it T-bones to the Marriott. So it's very, very nice.
It's neat to see.
Any comments out here from this grand number of 2? Which tells I'm very pleased with that as we did this in case people had questions. It just says we've been either too fast to organize this or a lot of people understand already.
I didn't realize it was happening until I looked online and saw that Brian Brown had posted it.
Mhm.
And I went, oh, and then I went to the Nassau Bay website where our new calendar is like a calendar instead of events.
Instead of events going down.
So you could see that it was scheduled today, which I found to be really helpful. So I appreciate the calendar.
I wonder who's
I don't know.
Paula.
And tomorrow too?
We were planning on it just in case. I mean, things were moving so quickly, Glenn.
Yeah.
And, we may with this here, not do it, but, or maybe be here for 10 minutes. I think that's also us to think about Saturday,
That's not a bad idea. And of course, I think the video of this
Correct. People,
will spread through the city, even if
do we
they
get,
don't
do we
know
get
about it.
any feedback at all from people online? I don't think we
There's a
do.
few watching, but I don't think we get any live.
How many are watching?
Looks like 3.
Watching. So thank you 3 for watching.
But this will be available to watch later as well.
Just maybe I'll just recap some things in case
Yeah,
people
that'd be great.
didn't. I mean, the council formally recognized or accepted the resignation of Nathan Bird. And in addition, we had a celebration for the service that Michelle Weller had. And much of council, we had some serious things get passed, which is the first that I'm really pleased about. I'll just talk about the first 3. We council agreed to partake in a consultant or a group that helps us fight CenterPoint price increases for energy. So from that standpoint, it's things we've done in the past, and they've announced a price increase, which for us being a small town of let's just call it nominally 5,000 people, we don't have really the economies of scale to fight these on our own. So we are joining with others in order to have our voices heard in a bigger, better, more kind of way. So that's good. It also, at a minimum, it postpones their price increase announcement, and just that alone is beneficial coming into the holiday season. Second, we passed the hiring of the agreement to sell certificate of obligations. One of the things Nathan mentioned in his comments that we were at a very sound financial situation. We did certificate obligations. It's a loan, but our cash flow was so high. We figured if we could use that to do a bond, we could be able to complete our infrastructure repairs for our water systems in basically 18 months. We didn't have enough to be able to do that all on cash flow alone, so we chose to do a certificate obligation so that we could accelerate that repairs. And everyone knows when I say our water distribution system, if you see Old Faithful coming out of the ground, which we've made great progress reducing, but we still have a very large amount of work that we have to do, and this will help us do a minimum of 4 linear miles more of repairs in our water distribution line. So that is very clear. That is already assumed in our budget. So there's This is not something that's going to cost the taxpayers anything. It's actually coming out of our water and sewer fund, which is being done by water prices. And we kept water prices for our residents flat, and it's really coming on the increases that we saw for our commercial sector, which was sorely needing the price increases that we gave. We were underpriced relative to others in the marketplace, so now we are evenly priced, which is what's creating the sound financial situation. I'm trying to think what else.
The plaque.
Oh yeah, that's the third one. The second one is Paula Tomasi and I met with our Councilwoman Tomasi, met with the Reed family and the Barrett family. We were walking a number of different places that we could place the memorial for Chris Reed. And just to reiterate, I said this last night, our intention is only to move it. It's not going to get changed in any way. Well, I'll tell one minor one, it's not to the plaque itself, but it's being moved to a more prominent position. If we were the places that we looked, and we really gave deference to the Reed family to say what they were comfortable with. And I really like what was decided. If you look at our town center, which is right there in front of the Courtyard Marriott, there is 3 circles. The center circle is the fountain, as everyone's aware, where the water goes shooting up into the air. If you're looking at the courtyard from Saturn Drive, the second circle to the left is where our emergency responder memorial is, that honored the passing of Kayla, who died in the line of service. That's what that memorial is for any emergency responders, be they police, fire, or EMT. We would want to recognize them. The third circle, which is all these things are symmetrical, and the responders memorial is in a brick circle that's a bed that was completely dug out and put in as the memorial there. As anybody who's visited, it's very nice. The Reed family chose the exact same location for the plaque that is symmetrical to what I'll call the Kayla, the responders memorial, only on the right side. And the reason they chose that was the two things that Chris Reed, really enjoyed and was known for doing was street eats, and for the continual commercial development of the town center. The family was very clear. He really did not do much for the dog park. In fact, Cam B was the one who put in the dog park. Alexis was kind of saying, was not kind of. She mentioned that they were never involved with the location being at the dog park in the first case. They found out the day it was being put up. So they've kind of been feeling up until this point not part of the process at all, whether to decide where it goes or part of the process prior to where it should go. And I think they are now feeling very much a part of the decision. They're the ones that chose it, and everybody thought it was a great location. It's right there in town center, and it's right there where the stage usually is for street eats. So Chris will be able to hear any bands, and given the that he started the first street eats, I'm suggesting that we should probably start organizing a new street eats that when the plaque goes up at a good time, that we actually have a fun celebration. I think everybody enjoys a street eats, and this gives us a damn good reason, pardon my French, to organize and have a street eats. So I think that's probably going to happen. And then lastly, And I have to give credit to Alexis. I think, Paula, you can what a class act. And you know, she had made mention that to the Barrett family that she was upset. It was never her intention to have such, just her words, horrific social media comments made to the Barrett family. She just said it really broke her heart because she has a very good relationship, which is now even stronger with Jack. So that was there. And what I may mention, the other thing too, and I really mean this is a much better prominent place to honor somebody who made a real difference in our city. The only thing we're going to do is the pole that it's on is in not so great. And I'm glad we're getting it out of there because male dogs do what male dogs do. And I don't believe that's actually a good honor to our past city manager. So it's going to go up right there, front and center to the right. You'll see it. It's got lights there. Alexis also said she had the palm trees are there, that Chris liked the palm trees. So if you go up there and you want to look to see the landscaping circle that's up there in that what we're talking about, it's the one that's about 10 feet in diameter and has about, you know, like I'm just going to guess 6 sago palms in it that comes out, and it has electricity there. So it's just all around a perfect spot. And I think it was well received last night too. So I'm hoping those who were on who weren't there know that is the location, that is the plan. And that is, we are going to have the family involved. If we put down even like some mosaic or I don't know yet. I'm throwing out, you know, spaghetti to see what hits the, you know, sticks on the wall to say, you know, how do we want to make that planner look? And but they're going to be definitely involved on that. Sorry to be so long-winded.
That's great.
But other than that,
The golf cart discussion, we'll talk about that because
yeah,
there's some complexity to the wording of what types of vehicles are allowed or will be allowed.
That's really good question, Glenn. And I can say the intent. We did the first reading, but for people, this council has made it a priority to provide ADA access for our parks. And the first two things that we've done is, and this is the first one pertains to what Glenn you mentioned is we have widened a path to a 9-foot width, brand new path that's put in. It'll be come up starting from by the animal shelter. It'll go all the way up to the baseball field, the new baseball field. It'll circle around and then come back to by the pickleball course, by the area through there, and we'll circle back around to tie in with the road up there. There'll be parking for golf carts and things of that sort, but the dilemma, the dying to split, is that the general walking paths are just not wide enough to have both golf carts and walkers. So we want to do this in a safe fashion. The 9-foot width is going to have painted areas that's going to designate pedestrian and golf cart designated parts of the path. And then the question comes in is what is, and I think this goes to the meat of your question, is what vehicle are vehicles that'll be part of this? And at least for here, this is what we're saying is we wanted to be able to facilitate ADA, which was, we know people do that with golf carts. And then what came out was motorized mobility, vehicles, which would be you know, the devices. I mean, I use the one like, you know, you see in people in grocery stores that sit down and then somebody came afterwards and said, you know, motorized wheelchairs would also comply. And I think we're going to look at, you know, there's certifications as to whether or not from a, people with disabilities or whatever that actually says those devices are designed for those. They only go a certain speed. We didn't want to say scooter. We didn't want to say anything kind of casual, because the one thing we don't want is to have people go and bring recreational vehicles that somewhat kind of maybe apply, because council is very aware that we are opening the door to more mechanized vehicles being able to go in there. We think it's right for people with disabilities, but we also know that, you know, the consequence that if we let it get out of hand, it could be a problem too. So we're limiting it to those vehicles that are specifically to enhance ADA or, you know, like I said, that has certified for mobility assistance. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, what about the 8-year-old kids on these battery-powered devices and all different
Yeah,
shapes
so we're,
and kinds?
you know, so that this is what came up is some of those, if you use a language like a scooter, you know, skateboard or anything, those aren't really mobility assistant vehicles. I mean, they're recreational vehicles. And some of
they are currently prohibited.
They are currently prohibited. The intent, and we've got the light to keep those prohibited, because those go sometimes up to 25, 30, 35 miles per hour. We do not want 35-mile-an-hour, you know, recreational vehicles, particularly with kids flying around on on our path that's meant to allow, believe it or not, most of the comments is to allow grandparents who have mobility issues take their grandchildren to the park. And I just got to do a plug for our other park that just went on Swan Lagoon. The second area that we've done with ADA is we have a merry-go-round that is specifically for to allow children who may be in a wheelchair participate in that. So it's an ADA compliant merry-go-round with access that's there for it into that playground. And our intent is and the people who walk it know it, not all of them, but our pathways in our parks are one that have seen their useful lives, let me say it. And our intent is to replace them to an ADA standard so people can have access to to the areas with our parks for people who are challenged. And I think that I like that. We'll see how it works, Glenn.
You know, I think there still may be some difficulty with the small devices and with the battery-powered bicycles, because, I mean, the campuses, college campuses, kids are riding them all over the place.
My understanding is we already have some people that do that, and I think they're
today, the kids ride them in the streets.
Yeah, they ride them in the streets.
Not so much here, but other.
No, I see them in the streets. There's no question.
All over the streets.
I haven't seen them in the parks, but then again, I've heard people say they have, and people, you know, police have come in and told them that they can't do that. But it's we'll see. It's a really good thing to give access to people who can't. I mean, to me, honestly, that's the law. I mean, I really believe that's not only the right thing, but we should be doing this. And now our question is maybe we do it safely, where kids being kids. I don't believe, you know, octogenarians or that are going to be flying at 40 miles per hour on their golf cart to or things, but kids might in there. And I do not want anything where like a small little motorcycle, scooter, you know, whatever could be thought of as being allowed. It won't be. Okay. What else did we, because I'm a little blurred from being.
No, that was most of it. We had the budget amendment for the firearms training.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's a really good one. Like I said, there was, some things got overshadowed by some of the big events, but, and I give James Abbey a real plug for this is, he has his safety and security meeting, and one of the things that I think was discovered was that our officers, while we provide for gun and initial ammunition and stuff like that, we as a city have not provided for practice ammo. And when I heard that James had discovered that, I thought it was a great idea. I fully support it. That up to a cap. I mean, we don't want to have an unlimited budget, but it's a little less than $16,000. We have the city paying for the practice that the officers will do, which to me, that's what it's all about. If you're not comfortable with some of the things, not comfortable doing things on a regular basis, it causes hesitation, it causes error, and you just don't want that with a firearm. So the more we can make it easy for people to participate in practice, I think the better off the whole city.
Yeah. So that took effect last night. That's a budget amendment, just had one reading. So we're going to be putting together a policy on that to make sure the usage is as it should be, and it's a very good thing.
Yep.
Yeah. That's pretty much it from last night.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So other than that, we just had we had few little bites to eat. I was told by one of the kids that I said there was going to be juice and cookies, and they told me there was no juice and cookies, that there was salamis and cheeses, and that they wanted juice and cookies.
For cupcakes.
There were cupcakes. That's true. That's true. But they wanted juice and cookies. It was funny. So
one question, has there been any discussion in the recent past about population control of the geese and ducks?
yeah, there has been. It's not so much the geese and ducks, only certain parts of the ducks. So the focus has been on the pigeons and the Muscovy ducks, which is
But not the geese.
not the geese.
Well, the reason I bring it up, when I was down at Founders Park
Yeah,
this Sunday, and that little dock they have there
correct.
was so covered
With
poop,
yeah, correct.
and there were a bunch of geese hanging out there.
That they are the
It
offenders.
was completely unusable. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no way I'd let a kid out there.
So we have a dilemma there, and I think it's a great question, Glenn. Is we are a birding trail. We're a city on the birding trail. We give protection to birds as a bird sanctuary, and the only two birds that are not protected under that bird sanctuary, umbrella, are pigeons, which are considered a pest, as well as the Muscovy ducks, which is an invasive genetic. I think it's an anomaly. I'm talking outside my knowledge here a little bit, but it transforms the ducks from like the mallards as part of just the dominant gene to where you see all the ugly markings. It's a hybrid, and they're not your mallard duck, variety. They're invasive, and those can be controlled. Those are the only two that I know. We either have to give up our.
I'd like to see geese included in
Yeah.
They're not migratory geese. Now, Canadians that migrate is a different story, but
Yeah.
the dock was just,
I mean,
horrible.
From where I sit, there is a very strong group that just loves the geese that hang around, and they hang out there. They also hang out down the streetway of I guess that's Martinique, that comes right there into Upper Bay Road, and those are big geese. They'll take on any dog that goes through there and probably win. But I even believe Facebook pages that are there that are, you know, if anyone hurts one of those geese, it gets on there like boom, and Troy's out there, and there's like almost a bird watch for the bird safety for, it's usually a geese that get caught within a vehicle or something like that.
Or given I looked, they have a life expectancy of as long as 25 years.
Or more.
And I think Texas Parks and Wildlife would support some kind of population control.
Yeah, I mean,
Doesn't necessarily mean get rid of them all, but
I'll have to look at it.
population.
But I think we have to give up our bird sanctuary, you know, designation
Yeah, I mean, geese.
if we do that.
Non-migratory geese.
And I know from, I mean, again, I'm not saying right or wrong, because I'm with you, because I've been down there. I've had people complain that they can't fish on that dock, and we're stocking the lake because you're right. It's not like there's a little bit here. It's covered. I mean, you don't want to put your shoes on that dock.
You can't walk without.
You can't.
stepping on it.
There's no. I mean, it is completely covered with bird dew, so to speak. And you know, for a geese that weighs about 30 pounds, it's not a small amount of dew. If we can be so visible.
In Michigan, there are a lot of lakes, and one of the most interesting things I was ever part of, the first village that I managed, did a thing called the Goose Roundup every spring. Usually it was March, and the state would issue a permit to the village. So literally, we'd have 30 or 40 volunteers on kayaks who would sort of round them all to a certain area, and the contractor pulled up and they'd be taken away, and then they'd show back up again next March. And so it was an amazing process, but it was all permitted through the state there, and I'm certainly not familiar with what Texas
So that was geese paradise versus geese heaven.
Well, they
And
were
it may be ambiguous.
they were relocated. they always found their way back. But it was a permitted process, and it was an annual part of life up there. And so it's interesting the way different states view the geese population.
One of the downsides, and I've made mention of this, is with the duck feeders, is that we have a huge pigeon population now, and I'm even concerned. I mean, with the geese, and that, you know, it's unsightly, it's a mess and stuff, but it's not as destructive. I mean, the pigeon poo is known to be highly acidic, and they're roosting in our pavilion, and they're going to destroy that pavilion. They get up there, and you know, and just putting spikes out and certain things isn't going to do it. And I really don't agree putting in a playground thing with balls to have spikes stand out. You know, we're going to have to do something with the pigeons, because I think there's at least a trove of 300-400 easy.
Oh, wow.
Easy. And they're destructive. Anything else?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean,
Can you speak to the generator policy and where we are on aware of how far off the property lines and those things?
yeah, I think the generator, as it speaks now, has to be at least 3 feet off the property line of your neighbor. And that's ours, and I think that's similar to the homeowners association too. So there's actually 2 ordinances, one per our city ordinance, and one by the bylaws of the homeowners association, at least for Nassau Bay Homeowners Association. I don't believe there's ones with the others. The other thing too, I understand, is that for any generator must be installed according to the guidelines that are stipulated in the OEM, the original equipment manufacturer's design. A lot of that goes to exhaust, how high, you know, the larger a generator, the more exhaust, which is carbon monoxide, things are not things you want to play around with. And they have a height by which they mandate for proper, distribution or exhaust of those gases. And I know those are two very, very tightly done, and we've already had people do that. And I know you've looked into it, maybe even some more.
Yeah, we've been looking at the ordinance and the policies. There's been some suggestions shared with us, and so we're looking at, I think it was just 2 months ago we published the
We
generator
did.
Ordinance in the Compass Rose. So we're trying to educate people about, but also continuing to look at practices.
And I support that education first, but at some point then it comes to code compliance
Yeah.
issue.
It does.
But I understand.
The biggest thing I've heard, and she'll know who I'm talking about, I won't mention her name, but the concern for elevated homes is those are usually right outside the window of a neighboring house. And that there's a noise component to that, which is under review because it's 3 feet next to a bedroom window for a generator going off, or a nursery or whatever is it's a legitimate concern. So
we're working on it.
we're working on it.
Good.
So
One other compliance thing, I've had some exchanges with Sarah about expiration of building permits.
yeah, that's a really good
It's
one.
part of the IBC code.
Yeah.
I understand the city is going to start to try to enforce that.
Yeah, they are. And I know the homeowners association is trying, there's a couple of efforts going. First is that a number of homes have been either elevated or hurt by Hurricane Ike and or Hurricane Harvey. And the repair and elevation process, and I should say elevation and repair because they're not, I don't mean them in one means like together as at a house, but the completion of those repairs have has been subject to lax enforcement or lax things because of COVID with supply chains and stuff like that. People just weren't enforcing stuff. And now we find we've got a number of homes that are incomplete. Like I can mention the greenhouse on Nassau Bay Drive. There are a number of homes up along the Upper Bay corridor that have gone on that don't have the downstairs compliant for the past 2 years. There's other homes around the neighborhood that are just unsightly, and the fear is unprotected in some ways because the building materials aren't meant to be out in the extremes for that length of time. And it's we're looking at, Sarah brought it up, I think it was some homeowners things, is that it's just not fair for people to have a perpetual home, in the construction phase, that there has to be, timeline. And that generally forces some difficult, some people have difficulty because of finances or whatever. You have, people who are going through, life that have other difficulties that haven't done things. And, it's elevating a standard, which I support and work it through. But, we've got too many right now, and I'll say it that way. I think we haven't done it yet with all our things going on here personnel wise. It's kind of been put on the back burner, but I'm sure that's going to come up again.
And we want to find a way to review all of our outstanding permits. We don't want to be selective with this. If we're going to do this, we have to look at every permit that's out there and see which ones are beyond that time period. So it's a little bit of a process, but Councilwoman Horton and our team here are working on it.
Yep. And I think there's even one where I think there's a timeline not to complete but there's a time limit on how long the permit is viable. So we have some of that we're looking at too.
Then in turn brings porta potties, sitting in front yards and
Correct,
all the things that go on.
correct.
Yeah.
So, again, another good question, Glenn. Anything else? Well, I think we can probably call it.
All right. Thank you, Mayor.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming.
Any questions online left?
I think we received live questions.
I
We do
don't
have some
think so,
people
because
watching.
because
Appreciate that.
yeah, I don't know. Did you see any?
I don't see anything.
So I thought Cheney sometimes has a venue into being able to get online
I don't
questions,
see any notifications.
but I don't see any. There'd be, see the chat box on the left, and I don't see anything there.
Have we decided about tomorrow's 9 o'clock coffee?
I think we're gonna be here if it's the same faces. We may say, here, have a cup of coffee. We'll see you later.
Yeah, we'll be here at 9
But
o'clock.
we'll be here. I
Okay.
mean, it's just, I don't think we should cancel what's been posted. It'll just create more confusion.
And then.
And then we're looking at doing
decide
it
on
Saturday.
You'll
Yep,
you'll
we'll
let
let
us know
people know.
maybe tomorrow.
Correct. Or maybe today.
Or
Yeah.
maybe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe better. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks.